Nikki, make sure you're standing up front here. Got everybody? Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I want to begin by thanking those who helped us with this extremely complex investigation, which spanned over more than a year. FDLE Special Agent in Charge, Mr. Mark Brutnell, Major Dennis Garvey Sr. here on behalf of Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Galtieri, Major Patterson, who is representing St. Pete Police Chief Anthony Holloway, Lieutenant Lamanco, representing Largo Police Chief Jeff Unstead, and Miss Kalita Remus and Eliana Swanson with the Florida Department of Health here in Hillsborough County. To each of you, thank you for your support and involvement in making this investigation so successful. I also want to thank Attorney General Moody, who couldn't be here today. General Moody is always the first to offer any resources necessary to apprehend criminals. Operation Shared Hope is an investigation that started in September of 2020 when our detectives noticed the massage parlor Simply Massage in Lutz was mentioned multiple times on adult forums. Our detectives conducted surveillance and found it highly unusual that the massage parlor only had male customers. Investigators learned the owners of Simply Massage were husband and wife, James and Nan Smith. And James is no stranger to law enforcement. Back in 2012, he was the target of a Homeland Security investigations case involving human smuggling, but was never charged. As Operation Shared Hope evolved, records revealed a connection between this couple and 12 massage parlors here in the Tampa Bay area, 4 in Hillsborough County and 8 in Pinellas County. Detectives quickly learned that these 12 locations were simply fronts for a prostitution ring. To make matters worse, some of these parlors were mere feet from where children played, took jiu-jitsu lessons, and learned to swim. The Smiths ran their business like a franchise, recruiting women from around the country, establishing a clientele, operating for a period of 6 to 8 months, then selling the business where the criminal behavior would continue. This multifaceted criminal ring operated like this. The customer or John would enter the establishment and speak to a manager or madam who would negotiate the sexual acts they wanted to perform, and then hand-selected the women who would perform the act, as if they were a personal shopper. We believe the individuals involved in this criminal ring made hundreds of dollars a day from the women they exploited, while the women who performed these sex acts were forced to work for mere tips. To increase profits, in many cases, these madams and the women involved would sleep at the parlors to maximize their availability. This is an extremely profitable business for those involved in this criminal enterprise, as we believe they attempted to conceal their profits by laundering more than $1 million in multiple accounts just during the time of this investigation. This illegal business ring was so profitable that one of the madams used her proceeds to purchase one of the parlors from the Smiths. Yesterday, court-authorized search warrants were served on all 12 massage parlors, the home of James and Nan Smith, and a storage unit that was connected to them. In addition to more than $400,000, we also seized a number of vehicles and assets valued at another $400,000, for a total seizure of more than $750,000. During these search warrants, detectives also discovered a large supply of new and used condoms and a wide selection of lingerie, which is never found in a reputable massage parlor. Our partners at the Florida Department of Health are now conducting their investigation, which will inevitably result in additional charges. A total of 7 people were involved in this organized crime ring and were arrested. The Smiths, 2 women acting as managers or madams, and 3 employees. These individuals now face charges including racketeering, money laundering, and deriving support from prostitution. They were all arrested and taken into custody without incident. The women being exploited are not the only victims in this case. The Smith's 5-year-old son was also taken into protective custody. Just think of the heartache and trauma this young child will now face with both of his parents in jail where they belong because of their sickening drive for cash at the expense of exploiting women. So now I ask you, what woman would choose this lifestyle? We don't believe very many would. That is why this investigation will continue. Detectives are interviewing the women who were found working in these massage parlors. We know that most of these women were being trafficked. We can only hope and pray that now they will come forward so they can get the help and resources to rescue them from this horrific cycle. If not stopped by Operation Hope, the Smiths criminal organization had immediate plans to expand with the addition of 2 more massage parlors here in the Tampa Bay area. And we believe that they are conducted to dozens of additional massage parlors. No one truly expects this to happen in their community. It's like something that you only see in the movies. I want to take a moment to single out a certain individual and especially say thank you to Lieutenant Nikki Bosley and the entire team of detectives who worked during this investigation. Your dedication and sacrifice is what made Operation Hope so successful. Now I'd like to introduce a man who is an extremely great partner to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, someone we can rely on to help with multi-jurisdictional and complex investigations such as this one. Florida Department of Law Enforcement Special Agent in Charge, Mr. Mark Brutnell.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'd first like to recognize the Sheriff for his commitment to public safety and his professional relationships that he has built over the years with law enforcement partners in the Tampa Bay area, to include FDLE. I'd also like to thank the Largo Police Department, the St. Petersburg Police Department, and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for their assistance. Yesterday's operation was the culmination of hard work and determination by the men and women of these agencies. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Division requested FDLE's assistance in this multi-jurisdictional investigation in August. We provided investigative and analytical support to identify and arrest these criminals. Racketeering charges and the crimes related to these deplorable acts have no place in our communities. Unfortunately, we continue to see these types of crimes potentially produce victims of human trafficking in our state, and investigating these crimes is a public safety priority. The criminal enterprise James and Nan Shen Smith were running under the guise of a lawful business impacted the Tampa Bay area in many ways and had no jurisdictional boundaries. The good news is law enforcement in the Tampa Bay area subscribes to the philosophy of teamwork. Now I'm asking you, the community, to join our team and help us in combating these crimes. When you see something suspicious or out of the ordinary, please say something and report suspected criminal activity to your local law enforcement agency or to FDLE. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brutnell. At this time, attempt to take any type of questions. It's cases like this where women are being exploited that keep me up at night. We know that we have a human trafficking problem across this country. Florida's not immune to that, neither is Hillsborough County, and that's why a few months ago we established a human trafficking squad, and we will continue to dedicate the resources until we eradicate human trafficking here in Hillsborough County. Great question. The women that we're in contact with now are the women who we recovered that were in the 12 massage parlors. We know there were some that are employed there that weren't there. So that's a big part of what we'll do now. Hold those accountable for this horrific type of criminal enterprise and behavior. But now we'll focus on rescuing those women. Some of the women we know already were here on visas. Some were here legally. We believe some were here illegally. And we'll continue to work with different agencies and see what help and resources we can provide to each of these women. That's still part of what we're trying to determine now. We know some of the women came from New York. Some came as far as California. We know some came from outside the country. We believe that there are even a couple that may have been smuggled in from as far away as China. And that's what we'll continue to work on now. How did this happen? Where did these women fall into this horrific cycle? A great question. No, everyone is of age. Everyone's 18 or older. And I think it's important to mention a lot of the footage of us making arrest, the charges, the individuals, their photographs will all be provided to you as soon as this press conference is finished. Yeah, I have to tell you what, during the investigation, James Smith at one point even said he would meet individuals, but not in Hillsborough County. It's too hot. You know, that certainly brings some type of comfort to me, the chief deputy, and the entire command staff and investigators who are out here working nights, weekends, holidays, again, in a complex investigation to dismantle a criminal enterprise like this. I hope today they find the satisfaction of knowing just how worth it was. Try it one more time. We don't know. We know that we were involved in, a year and a couple months. We don't know how long that this started. We're just starting to continue to dismantle some of this with intelligence that we're receiving. We believe they're involved in other massage parlors that may have been opened before the 12 that we're aware of. So that will be something that will continue. It wouldn't surprise me that there'll be additional criminal charges for additional individuals moving forward. Again, along with rescuing these women and probably many more that we'll come into contact with that were a part of this, or I should say, were victims of this criminal enterprise. Try it one more time. Oh, yes, the vehicles that you see behind me were seized. They were purchased from the proceeds of this criminal activity. So we'll now work through the court system to take possession, along with the money, the $400,000 that we seized from these bank accounts. Again, these were funds derived from this criminal enterprise and activity. So now we'll go through the court system to be awarded the assets behind us. That we will then take that, sell these off, use them in undercover operations. Use these proceeds for educational efforts and a lot of different things that we'll use under the trust fund. Thank you, everyone.